What is up and welcome back, you guys. If you guys are new here, welcome to the Prestige Amazon FBA YouTube channel. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Andy Lam. I'm a multi-six-figure Amazon FBA seller, and welcome to the channel. Now, if you guys are new here, this is part 5. Welcome to part 5 of the 6-part series for Amazon FBA for beginners. And in this video, I want to cover something extremely important. Before I do get into that, please be sure to check out the Facebook community that we are growing. This is going to be called Prestige Amazon FBA Mastermind. You can go ahead and search that on Facebook or check it out in the link in the description. As well as be sure to go check out the 2019 Prestige Amazon FBA cheat sheet. If you guys don't know what that is, you need to go check that out now. I include so many tips and tricks and tools that and resources that I still use to this day, and I'm sure you guys will benefit from that. So be sure to go check that out. But without further ado, let's dive right into this. So one of the main reasons why I chose Amazon FBA as a business model to pursue is because of how hands-off the process is. You know, once you do most of the research and a lot of the dirty work, or not dirty work, once you do a lot of the back-end work and you get your product out there, you don't have to deal with a lot of the picking and packing and shipping, meaning you won't find yourself spending hours and hours, you know, putting labels on boxes and shipping this out. This is definitely very tedious work, and this is one reason why it allows for such a scalable business model. Like, it's the scalability of private labeling on Amazon using Amazon FBA's platform is near limitless, and this is one of the reasons why I highly suggest, if you're looking into the Amazon FBA game, private labeling is the way to go. And in part 5 of the 6-part series for Amazon FBA for beginners, I want to cover how to get your product from your suppliers or manufacturers, specifically speaking on overseas suppliers, to Amazon FBA fulfillment centers and Amazon FBA warehouses. Now, if you guys aren't aware, when your product does get shipped into Amazon warehouses and fulfillment centers, it does get distributed around the state to different fulfillment centers. And if you didn't catch my previous video as to why, Amazon does this to better fulfill their 2-day prime shipping. So the faster that they can get your product to their customer, the more happy your customers are, and the faster your product gets there. So once your product gets shipped to one fulfillment center, it gets distributed to different ones that are closer to your customers, and that Amazon thinks will better fulfill that 2-day shipping for your specific category or niche of items. Now, you guys might be wondering, you know, how do you even get your product into the US, and how do you even get your products into Amazon fulfillment centers? And this is a great question, and this is a question that I get time and time again, especially when I'm explaining the Amazon FBA business model to people that are interested. And when you're talking to your suppliers and manufacturers, you know, there are 3 common methods that do come about, and these are the common methods that I will inform you guys about in this video. But these 3 methods that you'll run into and that your suppliers will let you know and your shipping forwarders will let you know of are EXW, FOB, and DDP. Now, these are just the 3 common methods that most suppliers and manufacturers use. These are not the only methods. These are the methods that I have used, and these are the methods that I recommend you try. But just to let you guys know, and just for this video, I will go over these 3 methods. And for the first, EXW. If you guys don't know what EXW stands for, it stands for X Works Shipping. Now, this is probably what most suppliers and manufacturers will quote you on. This is the price point that they will give you. And this shipping method is basically you placing the order with your manufacturer and you having to deal with all of the shipping and customs from that point. So all your manufacturer does for you is produce your product. You'll hire a shipping forwarder to go pick up your product from your supplier's location, and your shipping forwarder will have to deal with the rest of the shipping as well as customs. So from the supplier, or EXW will be a shipping method that you have to deal with picking up your product and getting it to the Amazon warehouse. And that's just where you hire a shipping forwarder to do that for you. It's not as hard as it sounds. You may be like, oh man, I have to deal with all of this myself, but relax, you just pay somebody to basically pick up the package for you and get it shipped to your Amazon warehouse, and then Amazon deals with it from there. So do not worry about that. Now, shipping method number 2 is free onboard shipping. Now, if you guys do not know what free onboard shipping is, it's basically a 50-50 deal between your manufacturer slash supplier and your shipping forwarder. So you will need to hire also a shipping forwarder for this. So just keep that in mind. But basically, your manufacturer or supplier gets your shipment of bulk units to the nearest port as well as on the boat. And once that is done, your shipping forwarder would then pretty much take it over. So you would hire your shipping forwarder to make sure that your product arrives at the Amazon fulfillment center on time and safely, and they also deal with customs along the way. So this is the second most common method of shipping. That's free on board. So again, it's like a 50-50 partnership between your manufacturer slash supplier and your shipping forwarder. The third most common method is DDP shipping, and that stands for delivered duty paid shipping. Now, this is probably the simplest method of choosing, especially when shipping your products, and especially when you're new, just because you don't have to deal with a shipping forwarder. But sometimes this can be a little more expensive because you'll be getting quotations directly from your manufacturer and supplier, and they may not always be as true to the current shipping rate as possible, and they may try to increase rates by a little bit depending on who you're working with. This varies case by case. This is something that I had initially started out with, just because I had done the due diligence and I had compared prices between shipping forwarders and DDP shipping with my supplier, and the rates were about the same. So I'd rather just have to deal with one less person and get the job done. So DDP shipping, delivered duties paid. Your manufacturer supplier ships your entire bulk unit and deals with the entire shipping process, customs included, and gets it directly sent to your Amazon warehouse. So you don't have to deal with the shipping forwarder. You have one person to talk to, and one person deals with the entire shipping process by themselves. Now, I did mention customs and customs taxes a few times just now, and you guys may be worried, and you guys may be thinking, oh man, Andy, I don't want to deal with customs. I don't have to deal with customs taxes. This seems so difficult. I'm just not going to start Amazon FBA because this sounds too difficult, and I don't want to deal with the government and shipping things into the US and having to deal with customs. Guys, it's not that difficult. I promise you. I initially had that thought when I was just starting out, but I promise you it is not that difficult. A lot of this is done for you. A lot of this is something that you pay for and somebody else does for you. But please be sure to not be deterred by the customs taxes and things like that. Either your supplier will deal with this for you when you opt in for DDP shipping. They will include the taxes and customs and all those requirements in the shipping costs, or your shipping forwarder will deal with this for you. This is just a tax that you will have to pay, and that will be dealt with by whoever you choose to work with in terms of getting your shipment into the US. Now, you guys may have been aware of the recent increase in tariffs, especially with customs, and it's highly dependent on the type of item that you sell, but most items that people do sell and get shipped into the US, if haven't been affected already, will receive an increase in taxes. This was initially, for most items, about a 3% tax. About maybe half a year back, and a few months after that, it had raised to 10%, and most recently 25% increase in tariffs per item. So you'll definitely need to take this number into account when you guys are figuring out your profitability. But this is just part of product research. As I mentioned, be patient. I always preach this to my students, but be patient with product research. Make sure you guys are taking into account these numbers, and especially with the new tariffs, do have that gap for maybe for every dollar that you spend, expect an extra 25 cents to be paid towards tariffs, and just put that into your profit margin so you don't forget it. But that just is a part of the customs and tariffs nowadays. But don't be scared. It's not, as mentioned, it's not as difficult. You just have to pay somebody to do it, and it'll be included in your shipping costs, so it's not something you have to be super paranoid about. Now, another major thing that you do need to keep in mind is shipping speeds. as you can imagine, and as you've probably experienced shipping things from overseas, it can take a really long time. And especially if you guys are sending large bulk units or a large volume of units into the United States, you can imagine how long this can take. But there are various shipping methods, just as you're shipping within the US. You can get things shipped very quickly from overseas, or as slow as you want for the most part. The slower you guys ship, the cheaper your shipping method is. Usually, if you guys are shipping 1,000 units of a large product, it's probably likely that you will be shipping via sea shipping, and that usually takes about 30 to 35 days, and that's what most suppliers and shipping forwarders will tell you. But you can also ship things very quickly, and it depends on the type of item that you are selling. This is something that I also tell my students, but for example, if you're selling nail clippers, I had a nail clipper here, but if you're selling nail clippers which are very small and you're getting an initial bulk shipment of 1,000 units, that's something that may be marginally more expensive by shipping via air, and it'll take, a month's time less to ship that via air and be slightly more expensive, but it'll be worth your time. If you're able to get something for a little more expensive but get it a month in advance, you'd be saving that time, and time is extremely valuable. So it may be worth it if you're selling nail clippers. But if you're selling TVs and you have 1,000 units, it's likely that you want to be shipping that sea to reduce that cost per unit in terms of shipping. But it just depends on you guys. But major tip, this is something that I do and something that I currently still do because time is extremely valuable to me. But if you guys are just launching a product and you guys understand the launch process for launching a product, it's nice to have things in advance. So what I personally do when I'm launching a product is that, say I am ordering 1,000 units for a newly released product, I will likely opt in for 30% of that shipment to get shipped quicker than the rest of the 70%. Of course, I'll have to pay a little more. I'll have to pay a little more if I'm not shipping it all together, as well as shipping at different shipping speeds. But I do get 30%, twice as fast, so that I do have that 30% to work with up front. And if I need that 2 weeks ahead of time to be able to launch a product, I do have that because time is valuable to me, and I already have 70% on its way as well. So I can be rest assured that that rest of the 70% is coming for the rest of the shipment. Hopefully that cleared up a lot of the questions you guys may have, and I hope that leaves you less hesitant to join the Amazon FBA game. I know customs and shipping from overseas can be a little intimidating and it can be a little confusing, and that can deter most people from joining the Amazon FBA game, but I promise you that it's not that difficult. Feel free to message me if you guys have any questions, by the way. Just do so in the comment section below. If you guys found this video at all helpful, please be sure to drop a like. I definitely appreciate it, as well as subscribing. I have one more part to this series, as well as years and years of knowledge and value to be given to you guys, especially if you guys are new Amazon FBA sellers or if you guys are veteran sellers. Please be sure to join me and my journey and subscribe. I definitely appreciate it and look forward to sending you guys more videos. But until next time, I'll catch you guys at the next one. Peace.